Assalamu alaikum, welcome to my channel hidayahhub. If you like this video and my efforts, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Reference: Sahihal-Bukhari 209 to 237 in book reference, book 4, Hadith 75 to 108 USC MSA Web, English, reference, volume 1, book 4, Hadith 208 to 238, chapter 51, rinsing one's mouth with water after eating as sawik without repaying ablution. Narrated Suwaid bin al-Nu'man. In the year of the conquest of Khaybar, I went with Allah's messenger till we reached Shaba, a place near Khaybar, where Allah's messenger offered the Asr prayer and asked for food. Nothing but sawik was brought. He ordered it to be moistened with water. He and all of us ate it, and the Prophet got up for the evening prayer, Maghrib prayer, rinsed his mouth with water, and we did the same, and he then prayed without repeating the ablution. Narrated Maimunah. The Prophet ate a piece of mutton from the shoulder region and then prayed without repeating the ablution. Chapter 52, whether to rinse the mouth after drinking milk. Narrated Ibn Abbas. Allah's messenger drank milk, rinsed his mouth and said, "It has fat." Chapter 53, ablution after sleep. And whoever considers it unnecessary to repeat ablution after dozing once or twice or after nodding once in slumber. Narrated Aisha. Allah's messenger said, "If any one of you feels drowsy while praying, he should go to bed, sleep till his slumber is over, because in praying while drowsy one does not know whether one is asking for forgiveness or for a bad thing for oneself." Narrated Anas. The Prophet said, "If any one of you feels drowsy while praying, he should sleep till he understands what he is saying, reciting." Chapter 54. To perform ablution even on having no hitherto. Narrated Amr bin Amir. Anas said, the Prophet used to perform ablution for every PR. I asked Anas, "What did you used to do?" Anas replied, "We used to pray with the same ablution until we break it with hitherto." Narrated Suwaid bin Nu'man. In the year of the conquest of Khaybar, I went with Allah's messenger till we reached Ashbar, where Allah's messenger led the Asr prayer and asked for the food. Nothing but sawik was brought, and we ate it and drank water. The Prophet got up for the Maghrib prayer, rinsed his mouth with water and then led the prayer without repeating the ablution. Chapter 55. One of the major sins is not to protect oneself, one's clothes and body, from one's urine, i.e., from being soiled with it. Narrated Ibn Abbas. Once the Prophet, while passing through one of the graveyards of Medina or Mecca, heard the voices of two persons who were being tortured in their graves. The Prophet said, "These two persons are being tortured not for a major sin, to avoid." The Prophet then added, "Yes, they are being tortured for a major sin. Indeed, one of them never saved himself from being soiled with his urine, while the other used to go about with calumnies to make enmity between friends." The Prophet then asked for a green leaf of a date palm tree, broke it into two pieces and put one on each grave. On being asked why he had done so, he replied, "I hope that their torture might be lessened till these get dried." Chapter 56. What is said regarding washing out urine. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Whenever the Prophet went to answer the call of nature, I used to bring water with which he used to clean his private parts. Narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet once passed by two graves and said, "These two persons are being tortured not for a major sin, to avoid." One of them never saved himself from being soiled with his urine, while the other used to go about with calumnies to make enmity between friends. The Prophet then took a green leaf of a date palm tree, split it into pieces, and fixed one on each grave. They said, "O Allah's Apostle, why have you done so?" He replied, "I hope that their punishment might be lessened till these, the pieces of the leaf, become dry." See the footnote of Hadith 215. Chapter 57. The Prophet saw, and the people left the Bedouin undisturbed till he finished urinating in the mosque. Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet saw a Bedouin making water in the mosque and told the people not to disturb him. When he finished, the Prophet asked for some water and poured it over the urine. Chapter 58. The pouring of water over the urine in the mosque. Narrated Abu Hurairah. A Bedouin stood up and started making water in the mosque. The people caught him, but the Prophet ordered them to leave him and to pour a bucket or a tumbler of water over the place where he had passed the urine. The Prophet then said, "You have been sent to make things easy and not to make them difficult." The spilling of water over the place where there is urine, narrated Anas bin Malik. A Bedouin came and passed urine in one corner of the mosque. The people shouted at him, but the Prophet stopped them till he finished urinating. The Prophet ordered them to spill a bucket of water over that place, and they did so. Chapter 59. The Urine of Children. Narrated Aisha, the mother of faithful believers, a child was brought to Allah's Messenger, and it urinated on the garment of the Prophet. The Prophet asked for water and poured it over the soiled place. Narrated Qais bint Amazon. I brought my young son, who had not started eating ordinary food, to Allah's Messenger, who took him and made him sit in his lap. The child urinated on the garment of the Prophet, so he asked for water and poured it over the soiled area, and did not wash it. Chapter 60. To pass urine while standing and sitting. Narrated Hudhaifa. Once the Prophet went to the dumps of some people and passed urine while standing. He then asked for water, and so I brought it to him and he performed ablution. Chapter 61. To urinate beside one's companion while screened by a wall. Narrated Hudhaifa. The Prophet and I walked till we reached the dumps of some people. He stood, as any one of you stands, behind a wall and urinated. I went away, but he beckoned me to come. So I approached him and stood near his back till he finished. Chapter 62. To urinate near the dumps of some people. Narrated Abu Wail. Abu Musa al-Ash'ari used to lay great stress on the question of urination, and he used to say, if anyone from Bani Israel happened to soil his clothes with urine, he used to cut that portion away. Hearing that, Hudhaifa said to Abu Wail, I wish he, Abu Musa, didn't lay great stress on that matter. Hudhaifa added, Allah's Messenger went to the dumps of some people and urinated while standing. Chapter 63. The washing out of blood. Narrated Asma. A woman came to the Prophet and said, if any one of us gets menses in her clothes, then what should she do? He replied, she should take hold of the soiled place, rub it and put it in the water and rub it in order to remove the traces of blood, and then pour water over it. Then she can pray in it. Narrated Aisha. Fatima bint Abi Hubaish came to the Prophet and said, O Allah's Messenger, I get persistent bleeding from the uterus and do not become clean. Shall I give up my prayers? Allah's Messenger replied, no, because it is from a blood vessel and not the menses. So when your real menses begins, give up your prayers, and when it has finished, wash off the blood, take a bath, and offer your prayers. Hisham, the sub-narrator, narrated that his father had also said, the Prophet told her, perform ablution for every prayer till the time of the next period comes. Chapter 64. The washing out of semen with water and rubbing it off when it is dry, and the washing out of what comes out of women, i.e., discharge. Narrated Aisha. I used to wash the traces of janab, semen, from the clothes of the Prophet, and he used to go for prayers while traces of water were still on it, water spots was still visible. Narrated Sulaiman bin Yashar. I asked Aisha about the clothes soiled with semen. She replied, I used to wash it off the clothes of Allah's Messenger, and he would go for the prayer while water spots was still visible. Chapter 65. If the traces of janab, semen, or other spots are not removed completely on washing. Narrated Amr bin Maimun. I heard Sulaiman bin Yashar talking about the clothes soiled with semen. He said that Aisha had said, I used to wash it off the clothes of Allah's Messenger, and he would go for the prayers while water spots was still visible on them. Narrated Aisha, I used to wash the semen off the clothes of the Prophet, and even then I used to notice one or more spots on them. Chapter 66. What is said about the urine of camels, sheep and other animals, and about their folds. Narrated Abu Kilaba. Anas said, some people of Uqlarura in our tribe came to Medina and its climate did not suit them. So the Prophet ordered them to go to the herd of milch camels and to drink their milk and urine as a medicine. So they went as directed, and after they became healthy, They killed the shepherd of the Prophet and drove away all the camels. The news reached the Prophet early in the morning, and he sent men in their pursuit, and they were captured and brought at noon. He then ordered to cut their hands and feet, and it was done, and their eyes were branded with heated pieces of iron. They were put in al-Harra, and when they asked for water, no water was given to them. Abu Kilabar said, "Those people committed theft and murder, became infidels after embracing Islam, and fought against Allah and His Apostle." Narrated Anas. Prior to the construction of the mosque, the Prophet offered the prayers at sheepfolds. Chapter 67. An-Najasat, impure and filthy things, which fall in cooking butter, ghee, which is obtained by evaporating moisture from butter and water. Narrated Maimunah. Allah's Messenger was asked regarding ghee, cooking butter, in which a mouse had fallen. He said, "Take out the mouse and throw away the ghee around it and use the rest." Narrated Maimunah. The Prophet was asked regarding ghee in which a mouse had fallen. He said, "Take out the mouse and throw away the ghee around it, and use the rest." Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, "A wound which a Muslim receives in Allah's cause will appear on the day of resurrection as it was at the time of infliction. Blood will be flowing from the wound, and its color will be that of the blood but will smell like musk." Thank you so much for watching and your patience. Like, share and subscribe.